welcome back to my channel. So during this video I am going to be showing you all how I do my base, from the foundation, everything to I set it, bronze it, the whole nine. So if you guys are here for it, then let's get started. So I always mix my foundations, because a lot of times when I go in a store I don't know how to find the perfect match, and sometimes it'll say it's best for this type of skin, like medium neutral. That's the shade I like to buy, but it doesn't always come out that way. Maybe a little yellowish, a little orange. So I always mix my foundations. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna use 3 foundations today. I'm using my Juvias Place, and this was in the shade Tangier, and I'm almost out of this. And I'm gonna use my Milani Conceal and Perfect in the shade Ivory. And then I'm going to use my L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear in 470. So these are the 3 foundations I'm going to be using today. And I always use them on my little makeup palette, and I mix it on there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now when I mix it, it's a little bit more than can go on your face, but I don't use it all. So I like to take 1 drop of the Juvia's Place foundation, because if I use that by itself, it's kind of like more stiff, and it really doesn't blend well, in my opinion, for me when I do it. Then I'm going to take the Milani and do a pump. Like I said, I know it's more than enough to use in your face, but I just do it anyway. And my L'Oreal. I like to take 2 pumps of this because it's more on the liquidy side, so it gives it that more smooth consistency where it places on my face really good. So I am going to take these tweezers because I can't find my stirrer. I'm just going to mix the foundations on the palette and mix it really good. And if you decide to do this, you can make it a little deeper or a little lighter based on your skin tone. So I just mix it really good. And it wears pretty good for me throughout the day. Okay, so I have that mixed really good. And this is the color it came out to be. And it's a little yellowish on here, but it's okay because once we bronze, highlight, and all that, it's going to come together. So I'm going to let this sit here while I moisturize my face. And I've been loving my CeraVe. I'm almost out of this stuff, and I've been using it for months and months. But I love to make sure my face is fully moisturized before I go in with any foundation. And I put a lot of moisturizer on my face. So if y'all see me with all of this stuff, and that's just how I like to do it. Because like I said, I have to make sure my face is fully moisturized before I apply any foundation. And this is what works for me. And I do have like oily skin, but for some reason it still works. But I think you still have to make sure your face is really moisturized, really good. So we're gonna go ahead and blend this in the skin and under the eye area. And I think this is what helps it to be more flawless looking, because you have like a nice canvas to place your foundation on top of. So now we're going to blend, rub in the moisturizer on my neck. And to me it feels really good to have a well moisturized skin when you're doing foundations, because to me, if I don't do this, my foundation feels dry, and I believe it just cracks easier when you don't do it that way. So next I'm going to go in with my, and I've been loving this like the last couple of months. I don't know if they still sell it, and it's the Bare Minerals Prep Step. And it's a broad spectrum SPF. Is that SO? SO, I think. And it's a Mineral Shield Prep Lotion. And I've been loving this, on top of my moisturizer. And I only take a little bit of this, and I take it on my finger. You have to make sure you shake it first because it gets a little water after it sets. and I dot it in my areas where I get oily. And it doesn't take, like I said, a whole lot of this, and it kind of is like a primer to me. And then I just blend it in those spots and pat it and do my whole nose, mainly where I get oily. I make sure it's blended really well. And it looks a little white right now and pinkish, but that's okay because it still works pretty good when you apply your foundation. And then my forehead area. Like I said, I don't apply it all over my face, just in the areas where I know I get oily. So just to make sure it's blended really good. And I'll go a little bit under my eye. And I like using my ring finger when I do this because it's the lightest and most sensitive. It's not applying a whole lot of pressure on my face and pulling my skin. Okay, so that's that. So now I'm going to go in with, can I find it? See, this is why I need to start prepping and preparing when I sit here. So I'm going with my Milk Hydro primer. We're going to stick a little bit of that, just a little bit. And we're going to blend it and pat it right in my nose area where I get oily. A lot of oiliness, and a little bit on my chin area. And do the same thing with my ring finger. Go ahead and kind of lightly blend it out with your finger. Now we are ready for the foundation, but I do like to let it sit for a couple of seconds before I start the foundation. That's the other thing I think works too. Instead of me just going straight in after applying all of the moisturizer and the primer, to let it kind of dry down just a little bit. Now while it's drying down, I have a lot of hauls, a lot of stuff I bought the last couple of months, since I had been like kind of slacking on filming, trying to enjoy my new grandbaby with my Gigi's little love bug, the island poo, and my new grandbaby Jackson. So I've been spending a lot of time with them, so I really haven't been filming a lot, but I have been purchasing a lot. So I'm going to show you guys all the items I purchased, like so much stuff. But that's not what this video is about, but I want to put it out there. So if you all see me just posting, I'm trying to share with you some older goodies, some new goodies. I purchased a lot of things that were new, have not used them yet, but I still want to share with you all before I use them. So now we're going to go ahead on and start this foundation. But first I'm going to take my Profusion flat brush, and I like to put a little translucent powder in the areas that I want to set where I get oily. And I barely place it. I don't place a whole lot of my translucent powder. And I make sure the brush is almost like none on there. And just lightly pack it in the areas where I get oily, where I place the bare minerals. And set the rest of the areas. And in my forehead area. And I like to go over my brows with my powder, because like I said, I have like really oily skin, and if I don't do that, my eyebrows tend to get oily throughout the day. So now we're going to go ahead and start applying the foundation. I'm going to take this, I think this is a crown brush. It's just this firm foundation brush, and we're going to go ahead with the foundation. And I take a little bit of it, and I start on the the cheekbone areas of my face, and I just sweep it on there and start going around the rest of my face. And you can see it's kind of coming, it's blended like really good from the base, the moisturizing. So we're going to do the same thing. And I like to apply most of my foundation in this area of my face rather than the rest of my face. I kind of spread what's left on the brush from this area to the rest of my face. So let's just go ahead and apply this, because I will talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and it'll drag it out. Okay, so. And I'm just taking what's left on the brush, so it's not a whole lot of foundation caked on my ears and down my neck. I just like a little bit to drag down my neck so it'll blend well together. Just gonna blend in that hairline. Because I don't like a whole lot of product on my forehead area, because that's when it starts to look cakey. So I just want to lightly fluff it into the hairline and just continue to blend with this brush. And then it's a really natural light feeling, although it looks a little more full coverage because it is a full coverage foundation. But it's really, really light. And I think it's because I moisturize so well. It glides on to my skin with no problem. It doesn't feel heavy and dry. So I'm going to take a little bit more and stick it here. Only because I want to go back up my nose with a little bit. And I don't like to put it directly in those areas. And I'm avoiding the eye area since we're going to conceal. And what's left, go around my brows and back up my forehead. So that is it for the foundation, but I do like to make sure I lightly blend so it's really smooth before I start concealing, because you don't want any patches in your base. So now I'm going to take my beauty blender. And when I wet mine in the morning, I sit in a paper towel so it can soak up a lot of that water. And we are going to blend the base. So now let's highlight and contour. So I'm going to be using my Too Faced concealers, and this one is in the shade Shortbread, and this one is in the shade Warm Beige. And these are the multi-sculpting concealers. And I'm about out of this thing here, but I love it. So I'm going to apply, that was not the first shade I was supposed to use, the Warm Beige. And I like to do this first. I don't know why I did on the other side, but it's still going to come together. And I apply it right under the eye area, but not directly up to the lash line. And I like using this because it's more closer to my skin tone. And then I'll highlight with a lighter shade and apply a little bit in this area and my forehead area, between my brows and down my nose. That's why I don't apply a lot of foundation, because by the time you start applying all these cream products, that's when the really cakiness starts. And now I'm going to take the Shortbread shade and apply it right in the nose area, going up to the under eye area. Okay, apply a little bit more. And I know it seems like a lot, but once you get done blending it and putting everything together, it works perfect for me. So now I like to let that sit for a couple of seconds like I do the moisturizer, because to me, if you start blending it now, it starts thinning out and your fine lines are showing even more. You can't avoid fine lines because I can't avoid them, but you can try to make them as less noticeable as possible. And this is my way of doing it. So while the under eye is set, and we're going to go ahead and blend the other two areas. And I like to go around where I'm going to bronze. And then the forehead area between the eyes, and just blend. And down my nose. So now we are going to go with the under eye area and blend. And I'm going to take the other end of the, it's a little bit, wasn't blended. The other end, the pointy end of the blender. And we're going to start blending right in this area first, and then we're going to blend upwards towards the lower lash line. So we'll start blending. And then around that under eye area. And then start going upwards towards the lash line. And I like this technique because you're not placing a whole lot directly under the eye area and then trying to blend it out. Same thing for the other side. And then I'll make sure it's blended into the foundation. I'm just making sure everything is blended really good before I start adding my powders. And the key is to just making sure everything is blended well and placed well. Okay, so now we're going to start powdering this baby. So now I'm going to take my translucent powder, and it's in a lighter shade, and we are going to place it under the eye area. And I like to start out with a little bit of powder and start lightly packing it right in the area and going up to the lash line and down the side of my nose. And you can see it's really blending really good without a whole lot of powder caked under my eye area. And the same thing for the other eye. Start right there on that, right up under the eye, and place it. And then I apply a little bit of this powder over my nose and stuff, what's left. Then we're going to do it one more time to make sure it's coated really good but not like packed. And the same thing again. And I'm lightly packing it under my eye area. And around my nose. So now we're going to set the other areas we put the concealer in. And I go over my brows again. And I make sure like my brush like really have like little to no powder on it. And around my mouth area where we place that concealer. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So now we're going to go in with the Ben Nye setting powder in, I think it's medium beige, and I take just a large fluffy brush, and this is a e.l.f. total face brush. I'm just going to put it in the powder, and I do the same thing, little to no powder on the brush, and I start setting the rest of my face, everything but my under eye area. We're going to place a little bit on our neck and blend downwards, because I want my face and my neck to be the same color. And then our forehead area. And it kind of bring a little color back as well to my face when I do it this way, from the foundation being a little more lighter or yellowish on my skin. So I'm going to make sure everything is placed and covered. Now we are going to bronze. So let's take a little bit more of this powder, because I feel like it's still a little bit, need a little bit more powder. Because I work 9 hours a day, and I have to make sure it sticks. So again, we're going to apply a little bit more, and it doesn't start breaking up throughout the day. Okay, the other eye. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Let me do that a little more lightening effect on your face. So now I'm going to start bronzing. I'm going to take my BH Cosmetics brush, and it's the pink. I didn't wash it so much I didn't wash the words off of it. But I'm going to take this brush and start bronzing. Now I've been doing so good. So I'm going to take the tan palette by Juvias place, the tan duo bronzing, and I take both of the shades together and start placing it right in that area and placing downwards. But I place most of it right in the area where your ear is. And we'll take a little bit more, place it again, and then I'll start going upwards towards my temple and my forehead. Now we're going to take a little bit of that and place it on our jawline and blend down. And blend it right in that hairline. Now we're going to take a little bit of the deep by itself and place it right in that area. I like this bronzer. So now I'm going to take the medium bronzing palette, and we're going to place both of these shades on our forehead area. And I like a lighter bronzing shade in this area because I don't want it too dark. And just go over the other bronzing areas so it can transition together. Just take a little bit more. So let's take the tan one more time because I want to be a bronzy girl today. The bottom shade, and make sure that deepness of the bronze is there. So now we are going to make sure everything is lightly blended together. With the edges of the bronzer and your hairline. And your jawline. And I go downwards with the bronzer. So I'm going to use the same brush. I'm just going to clean off just a little bit for my blush. So we're just going to wipe it off. Now, I know all of it's not gone, but we're just going to wipe off a little bit. And I'm going to take the Carity Blush Balm and use the two blushes together. And this is a really pigmented brush, so you have to be careful with this brush. And I'm going to lightly place it on my cheekbone area. Now I'm going to have to wipe this thing off again because it's like super duper pigmented. So let's wipe it off again because we want to blend it in with the contour, not contour, I'm sorry, the bronzing shade. And I'm lightly blending it. So now I'm going to go ahead in and highlight with the golder shade that's in the palette. And I'm going to take the brush I used to set under my eyes with, and I'm going to take that shade and we are going to place it right in the highlighting area above the cheekbone. And I'm just pressing it in. And I'm going to lightly blend it with the tip of the brush. And I know a lot of people have got away from this, but I still love to highlight my nose. And my cupid's bow. So now I'm going to go and chisel out my face with my beauty blender. I'm going to take my lighter translucent powder and put it on the tip of the blender. And I do take a good amount of this and just chisel out my jawline area. Not my jawline. Cheek area. My cheek area. And I just go straight across. There is something in my mouth. So let's just apply a little bit more. And I'll take what's left and go around my nose and my mouth with the powder. And then I'll blend the rest of it in. Because I like that chiseled look. I'm going to just make sure it's blended really, really good. And now I am going to go in with my eyebrow pencil and make sure my brows are fixed to how they were before I started applying the foundation. So I'm going to lightly shape them back into the look I want. And this is the Wet n Wild eyebrow pencil that I used today. Because I love the Morphe pencils, but I've been liking these Wet n Wild ones, and they're really affordable and they're really, really nice. So let's make sure we got that lower brow area. Okay, so now I am going to, I took my finger, going with my concealer brush and fade these brows in. The beginning of these brows, the front of these brows. Fade them in with the foundation. And I'm doing light strokes with it. So that looks pretty good. So now we are going to set this baby. I'm going to take my, this is the Catrice. I've never used this, so I don't know. I've never used it. We're going to try it anyway. So I think this should do, you know what, let's go ahead and do our lower lash line and stuff before we do that. And I'm going to take this Maybelline Definer line in black and just apply it to my lower lash line. And I don't go all the way in because I found out when I do that, it like runs really, really bad down my face. So I just place it all the way till you get before that tear duct area. That's cute. And now we're going to take the Essence Lash Princess and apply it on my lower lash line. And me, I get so clumsy with mascaras. I tend to mess up them corners with it. So I'm trying today not to do that. And I like to apply a little bit of lash mascara on my lashes after I've applied them to blend my natural lashes in with the falsies. Okay, so that should do it. So now we're going to go ahead and set the face. Well, I'm sorry, before we do that, we're going to make sure the eyeshadow is blended with the base as well. So I'm taking my same brush I used to apply the shadows and make sure it's blended. And I did not put a inner corner highlight. So we're going to use the Jaclyn Hill highlighting brush. I think it's a highlighting brush. The little small, I'm going to say highlighting brush. And I'm going to take my Ofra highlighter and Rodeo Drive, and we're going to pop that in the inner corner. And then lightly blend it up into the shadow. And place a little bit on my lower lash line, closer to the inner corner area. Do the same thing for the other eye. Lightly blend it. And place a little bit of it right below the lower lash line. I got a piece of hair on my nose. Okay, that's it. So now let's set this baby. And I like to make sure it's fully saturated. Oh, I like the smell of it. Never used it. And set it all. I like it. Then I take my sponge and just lightly blend in the setting powder. But I don't touch the under eye area. So let's go ahead and do these lips while we're on here. So I'm going to take my makeup wipe and wipe my lips. That's pretty. I like it. Let's use the... I have so much stuff. I need to rotate this stuff out and use it. It's just ridiculous. But I'm going to take the Lorac lip liner in Duchess. And it's this mauve pink shade. Gonna outline my lips. And I don't know what I want to put on my lips today. Let's do, I think I want to use this one. Let's use the Glam Light lipstick. And, y'all know I can't see. Eggnog. I think that's eggnog. Yeah, eggnog. And we're going to apply this on top of our lips. And that is the final look. So this is how I do my base every single day. It normally doesn't take me this long. It just took long because I'm trying to talk you all through it. But this is my everyday base. Now sometimes I will contour with my contour sticks, but when I'm in a rush, a lot of times in the morning I'm just bronzing instead of contouring. But I do love how my look comes out. It lasts all day. it doesn't really cake up. It doesn't really get oily a whole lot. I may have to blot maybe around lunchtime. But that's about it. But other than that, it works for me. I love how it comes together. I love the color my foundation comes out to be once I mix my foundations to the perfect shade that I like for my skin tone. But I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed how I do my base makeup. And if you guys know some things I can do differently, let me know. Let me know if this helped you out a little bit. What I could do differently, like I said, what you do that works for you that I may want to try that can work for me. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did putting it out here. Because I get a lot of compliments that work on what I do, how I do it. So I said, why not just refilm it over and show everybody how you do your face. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have not done so already, please comment, like, and subscribe to your girl's channel and become a part of my YouTube family here. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.